Rex, bang, a gong. Well, it's that time of the morning when we talk insurance, and we have Sonia Edwards here, and she's with Brian Insurance, and today we're going to talk about the dreaded hit and run. We hate those things.
Yes, we do. Good morning. We hope that it doesn't happen. Nobody wants it to happen, and you would hope that if somebody hits your vehicle and you're not in it, that they would do the right thing and leave a message, note, or find you. But unfortunately, it does happen.
Right.
And there's two kinds of hit and run. There's the hit and run when your vehicle's parked somewhere, and then there's the kind where you're in it and you have an accident and they take off. So I actually had one of our listeners ask the question, if that happens to me, if I have a hit and run, what does my insurance cover? So that's what we're going to talk about today. First of all, we'll just talk about, the damage to your vehicle, which at least you can put a number on as opposed to injury to a person.
Yeah.
If you have collision coverage on your policy, then whether an accident was your fault or not your fault, if somebody an object collides with your vehicle, as in another vehicle, your collision will cover that. So if you do have a hit and run, your collision will cover it. If you do not carry, and of course with collision you have a deductible.
Yeah.
And it just depends on your policy. So that would be the first thing. Another thing that we'd cover is uninsured motorist. If you carry uninsured motorist coverage and you have a hit and run, now there actually has to be a collision. If they just run you off the road, that's not considered an uninsured motorist situation. But if somebody hits you and you can't find who it was, the police can't find who it was, then if you carry uninsured motorist property damage coverage, then that will also pay.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. So, and that one has typically a $250 deductible, which might be smaller than some collision.
Right.
Now, as far as injuries, which is the thing you can't put the number on, if you have personal injury protection, which we talked about that last week, that will cover you and anyone else in your vehicle that's injured, no matter whose fault it is. And then, but it's usually a small number, like $2,500 or $5,000, which sometimes that barely puts a dent in hospital bills.
I understand that.
So then, that's where uninsured motorist bodily injury would come in. So that's why we recommend that people carry uninsured motorist coverage the same limit as their liability, because you want to have, that way anything that happens to you in an auto accident, if the other people don't have insurance, you would still have the same protection as you're protecting other people.
Okay, so but if you have collision insurance and your tree in your front yard hits your vehicle, is that covered?
Yes,
normally?
Yes. Normally it is, yes.
I didn't know if that would be under homeowners or collision.
No, it would be the auto policy would respond. So yeah, unless it's a liability situation because you're at your friend's house and say their tree was dying and they didn't do something, but that's a whole nother subject. But
Don't go there.
as far as your policy and your insurance, then yes, your collision would cover. Or there's comprehensive and there's collision, so it's going to be one or the other depending on what happens.
Okay.
Hail damage, theft, fire, that's going to be under the comprehensive as opposed to collision with a person, object, vehicle is a collision. And the other thing I want to say about the hit and run is some things because when something like that happens, most of us aren't thinking because we're freaked out because somebody did that to us. If it happens, call the police. Write down anything you remember after you pull over, obviously, but anything you remember. If you get the license plate, that's the best.
Yeah.
But if not, just anything, because you might forget 2 seconds later. So write down anything you remember, call the police. And another thing that I find interesting, and most of the things I learned, it's because it's happened to me or my family. And we had it wasn't a hit and run, but we had an accident in a parking lot of a business here in Graham. And the other party was saying one thing and we were saying another. And that business has cameras in their parking lot, and they were able to pull up the footage, and it was very clear, and they sent it to the insurance company. So that's another thing to think about, because sometimes hit and run happens in parking lots, and to be fair, I guess, to give the other person the benefit of the doubt, maybe they don't know that they tapped into you. Who knows? But it could be, So just there's some things, because the best thing is to find the other person, make them responsible for it. That's the best thing. But you need to make sure that you understand what your insurance policy has in case the other person leaves and you can't find out who they are.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
So-
All right, so you can talk to Sonia about all your insurance needs. She's at Bryant Insurance. How can people get a hold
Well,
of you?
you can give us a call, 940-549-2525. You can come see us, the second floor of the Sierra Bank Building.
Right across the street.
Yes, downtown Graham. Or you can visit us on the web, www.bryanins.com.
Okay, cool. Yay, thank you. That was pretty informative.
Thank you.
I like to know that. Thank you, Sonia,
Uh-huh.
for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Always appreciate